But when are you guys gonna step up to the plate? Because we voted to improve Park Lane, the big project that you had. We voted with you guys. When are you guys, Republicans, when are you guys gonna support the issues at hand that we have? When? This is an opportunity for you to take this off the agenda, Mayor. This is an opportunity for you to fulfill your promise to the citizens of Ward 4. You promised them a splash pad. You promised them improvements, and you have not delivered. And you getting ready to go out of office, you say you're running for something else, you're not delivering. It don't even supposed to be on the agenda because the Robert Rules of Order, the 11th edition, said that this vote on rescinding must come from the majority party. And you, my friend, were not in that majority party.
Selectman, you back, you have your hand up?
Yes, I'm in full agreement with Selectmen, except for one thing. Not Ward 3, you mean Ward 2.
Sorry.
5, and not Ward 3, let's get that straight.
Ward 2, 1.
Let's start off the top, let's get that straight right there. I'm in full agreement with you, but that's why I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
All right.
Good call, man.
No. Okay. The motion was made, duly made and seconded. I find the motion in order. Any other discussion? Selectman Park?
Mr. Dyer, did you say these have to come from the Senate party?
You want in?
Did you say this had to be put back on the agenda? Had it come from the winning party?
No, sir.
What did you
At a
say?
subsequent meeting, for reconsideration the night of the vote, reconsideration the day of the vote, every legislative body that I'm aware of says you can't bring it back up for reconsideration unless you voted in a certain way and want to switch your vote to something else. That's reconsideration that night, that day in the state legislature, whenever. Here, this is 2 weeks later, and whether it be 2 weeks later, or 2 months later, or 2 years later, if you want to rescind, amend, repeal, it doesn't matter how you voted before. If somebody makes a motion, and if there's a second, and if it's put to a vote, as I've said, I respectfully would tell you, I think y'all are getting reconsideration confused. And reconsideration means the body reconsidering earlier what it did in that meeting, or that session.
We're definitely not. The only time I've heard tonight about reconsideration was from you. We're talking about rescinding.
Just because somebody votes one way, one time, they can't change their mind if it's asked 2 weeks later or 2 months later to rescind or appeal. They have to vote consistently from meeting to meeting to meeting.
And Robert Rules of Order says that.
I disagree with that. I heard what he said.
Okay, but you're going to have to listen again, Attorney. Robert Rules of Order says that we have to receive a notice, and this is not a notice, putting it on the agenda. That's not a notice. I don't care how many times the chair says right is wrong.
Anything else? Selectman Eubanks?
Usually when we do notices are published. They're put on the front door. The Enterprise Journal is given a copy. Did any of that happen? Were they notified? Was a copy put on the front door? Every notice that I've ever seen, that was the procedure. You know, I didn't notice it because I never looked at that particular thing. So no one ever specifically told me that we were having this. It was not noted on the front door, as all notices have. We had a hearing here at 5 o'clock. How was that noticed? Was it noticed?
Yes.
And how was it noticed?
The intended parties were invited by letter.
By letter. Did you receive a letter? I didn't receive a letter. So we got different ways of noticing people. We need to be consistent, and the consistent notice and procedure is that you post it on the front door, and you give the media a copy of it, that's notices, not putting it in a docket that some selectmen may or may not see until the day they get here, because we don't have work sessions anymore. Okay, so I believe that the majority that voted on this in the right. You never officially notice anything. Any notice, if I'm not mistaken, Madam Clerk, has to go through the Enterprise Journal and be posted so that the public can review it. And that's out of order, because that never happened.
Ms. Dillon, our finance director, can you explain to us how much money is in the hotel motel tax right now? And the mayor mentioned about $600,000, right?
$600,000 worth of park proposed improvements.
So
I have that document here for you tonight that we'll get to at the end before we get to announcements, and I'll pass it out.
Okay, so I know we pick up on that maybe like on a year basis, or is it over a 4-year, a 3-year span that we pick up $600,000?
What I'll show you is over a 3-year period of time.
Right,
This is about rescinding this order, item number 10.
Right.
Let's don't get off track.
Okay, I mean, but what I'm alluding to is that you have a $600,000 plan, but half of it's already spent already. But actually, before this, if you guys are sending this, then most of it's gonna be spent. So you have a plan that's not even feasible, according to what's already on record. And if you're saying that $600,000, you already done spent $337,000 of it. So I'm not understanding how this is working.
Okay.
Because we're not guaranteed to get approved with the hotel motel tax after this next term, I should say.
All right. Anybody else? Ready to vote?
And one last question: how do you guys sleep at night knowing you guys tore down a recreational facility in a community, and also now you're denying another community of color funds for recreation activities? I just don't get how you guys function as humans at that.
And we're going to get there, just toward the end of the meeting. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Is that 3 ayes? Tullis, Cameron, Selectman Tullis, McKenzie, aye. So the mayor votes aye. All right, so it was 3-3 and the mayor voted aye. Motion to rescind was approved. Item number 11, consider rescinding order 760318, creating an account for the $200,000 that will be borrowed against the anticipated hotel motel tax collection receipt for Algiers and Beartown in fiscal year 18-19. So we'll be rescinding that. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Senator Tullis, Senator Cameron. Discussion. This is where we set aside money for, especially out of hotel motel tax for Algiers and Beartown. We rescinded that appropriation out of hotel motel tax, so we do not need to create this account.
Question.
Selectman Brock.
Why this account wasn't open? Ms. Janice, Ms. Dillon, did anybody instruct you not to open this account?
Absolutely not.
Why was it not open?
I have no idea. But this is like to say that we're not going to open those accounts.
But we had enough time to open.
Possibly so.
So why wasn't it open?
I don't open accounts. So
What's the normal course of opening accounts such as?
Not going to be recognized by the chair.
Selectman, Ms. Janice Dillon.
When you, speaking of opening an account, what we normally do is open up just in the accounting system, just create another fund. It's not creating a new bank account or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just doing just going in there, renaming a new fund. That could be done at any time. It could be, I just haven't created it. I can. No one instructed me not to. No one said that this account would never exist or anything. But I just haven't created it yet, but I can create it, and you can create and delete it at any time. It's just creating a fund, not a new bank account. We don't create different bank accounts
The
for
last-
all of this.
The last fund that was created was,
The last fund that was created was Fund, I believe, Fund 321, and that was for, the TIF fund that we got in.
okay, when we authorized the account for MLK, how many days did it take you to open it?
I have no idea how long it took me to open that. I don't recall. I can pull it up in the system and tell you what day it was created.
When you get time?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Further discussion? Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
No.
3 ayes, 3 nays, Mayor votes aye. Motion has been rescinded. Order is rescinded. Item number 12, move to consider receiving check number 1628, amount of $100 from Stephen W. Nelson to the McComb Animal Shelter to be deposited into Fund 001-000-346 and increase line item 001-105770, and further authorize a budget amendment for said amount. These funds are to be used to purchase necessary equipment and supplies from McComb Animal Shelter only. Motion and a second. Selectman Tullis. Second. Selectman McKenzie for the second. Discussion on item 12. Vote. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item 13, move to consider establishing the pay rate for poll workers for the City of McComb City primary, May 1st, 2018 and May 15, 2018. For the general election, June 19, 2018, and for the general election, June 19, 2018. The returning and receiving manager will receive $20 travel allowance for pickup and return of ballot and supply boxes from and to Election Central. Table workers will receive $100 per day, and all managers will receive $12.50 per hour for time spent in training. A motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis?
Second.
Selectman McKenzie for the second. And the only thing I would tell you about the managers receiving $12.50 per hour spent for training, if we train, if they're trained for poll workers, as I understand, if they do not accept the job as a poll worker, they will not be paid for training. So, when they, if they are poll workers, they get paid for the time and spent in training. And this is state law sets a parameter for the setting up rates of pay. We're at the top end. Is that right, Ms. Bonnie?
Yes, sir.
City Clerk? Yes, okay. All right. Discussion on item 13.
I have a question.
Selectman Brock.
The training for the regular workers, are they getting any pay?
Well, they're going to get pay as poll workers.
No, I asked about the training. The poll workers are going to be trained, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
They receive a no.
They pay after the election.
After the election, they'll get paid if they work at the polling
Okay, they're
place.
getting paid for working on polling day.
Yes.
And they get the training.
And training.
Yes, sir.
And which is at the same rate?
Okay, you said, everybody can put homework. When you,
It says managers will receive $12.50. What about?
homework is going to be chicken, not with the rest.
It says managers.
And training costs, everybody working home managers, what they refer to as, at our training.
So everybody's going to
Because
see.
you gotta think about, when you say poll managers, some be over, at the table, some be at the machine, different stuff, but they manage that part, so they cost everybody poll work.
Okay.
Yeah, they prefer that everybody poll managers. Now,
Okay,
they
so-
manage a certain part, you know what I mean?
So the person that's there just going through the books is going to receive $12.50 training first that day. So that's everybody.
Yes, sir,
Training comes ahead of the elections,
that's right.
and if they attend training, and then they work the
They'll
polls.
still get $100 a day also now.
Okay. Say again?
They'll still get $100 for that day.
So do we need to make any change to this?
I think it's fine, no, sir.
It's fine.
It's just right.
Okay.
You
All
said,
work-
you said for poll workers right there?
All managers.
It's so it's everybody. On the first line,
Mhm.
pay rate, yeah, that's everybody.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Further discussion? Vote. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Move to consider accepting and awarding the low bid for the McComb well number 5 replacement to the Griner Drilling Services Incorporated, Columbia, Mississippi, in the amount of $670,000. Subject to review by the Mississippi Department of Health, and authorize the mayor to execute all necessary documents relating to the project. In a motion and a second.
So moved.
Metellus.
Second.
Senator McKenzie, found on pages 12 and 13, and board, I'll just tell you that, you know, we got 4 bids, I believe, is that what it says? Keith Lott, Chuck Lambert?
Yes, that's correct.
We got 4 bids, and this 670 is a very good bid. We were anticipating engineer's estimate much higher, so that's a welcome blessing to the ratepayers. Discussion? Vote. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right. Item 15, move to consider approving Neil Schaefer to advertise the Park Lane Road Improvements Project, and further authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents related to the project. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Senator Tullis.
Second.
Senator McKenzie, and board, we've gotten all easements lined up, and we're ready to advertise the project. Bid specs have all been prepared. It's time to pull the trigger and go out for bid. Discussion? Votes. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. I have 3 nays, 3 ayes. Mayor votes aye. Motion passes. All right, we had, did you get the votes, Mr. Clerk? All right. Item 16, move to consider ratifying the mayor's travel to Jackson, Mississippi on March the 7th, 2018, meeting with Governor Bryant's staff regarding opportunity zones for the city of McComb and Pike County. Could I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Senator Tullis. Second. Senator McKenzie. In the President's tax bill that was signed into law back in December, there was a piece in there creating opportunity zones around the nation. Each governor will designate certain census tracts and designate as opportunity zones. And they have to, census tract has to be new market tax qualified, which means that, you know, it must support, low-income areas that are struggling and needing improvement. And so I want to work on that. These are not grants; these will be investments that these funds would be created to manage these opportunity zones. Would be created. Opportunity funds would be set up as well. Those are taking capital gains from around the country, put into funds, and they invest these funds in different census tracts of their choice. So it's something that can incentivize investment in underserved communities. We made application for 9505, which is a tract that works from the railroad tracks and Delaware all the way out to Percy Quinn Park, to include Gateway all the way to the western edge of the county. And it is new market tax qualified. It looks like it's got great potential to be designated. The governor, I think they're like 600 census tracts around the state. 400 of them may be new market tax qualified, so the governor can only pick 25% of those, so he can only pick 100 census tracts from around the state. Hopefully he'll pick this, which gives us an opportunity to really bring some new investment into census tract 9505 if we're successful. So that's what I want to do, make that pitch, and I think we did a good day's work. We'll see. The deadline was March 21st, so we probably hear inside 2 weeks. I think next board meeting we'll know. All right. Discussion? Sir,
Is this a map that was submitted?
Well,
Area map?
the state is divided into census tracts. Pike County has maybe 7 census tracts, so it's delineated on the Pike County map. And I focused on 9505. I know our ED. You heard Ms. Jill Busby speak to this recently speak to this matter that she submitted for all. So we're trying to at least get one done here in Pike County.
9505.
9505 census tract. Yes, sir. It covers our Gateway Park. It covers Percy Quinn State Park. goes out Delaware and west of the county line, it goes down to like Magnolia Crossing. It doesn't go all the way across, it doesn't go all the way to the southern half of the county. But check on census tracts and look at opportunity zones, and you can read all about it.
What did you just mention about low income areas?
Well, the opportunity zones were created to stimulate investment in low-income areas, and that's the reason that they must be new market tax qualified, because those are geared toward low-income areas that need redevelopment. And so if they're qualified new market tax credit, they would be qualified to be considered for an opportunity zone. Okay. Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. I think that's going to be, if it works, it'll be a great thing for Pike County, McComb. All right, item 17, move to consider approving advertising for the demolition and cleanup of several condemned properties within the city of McComb, declaring nuisance property files closed on properties located at the following addresses, adjudicating the cost of demolition, cleaning and removal of debris from said property, and directing the city clerk to assess said cost back to the property as a lien. I need a motion and a second. Second. Selectman Tullis, Selectman McKenzie. And I will tell you this, just as a side, city clerk received a check this past week for over $1,000 where we'd spent cleaning up a property and putting a lien against it. So that's, we don't get a lot. We all of them were that way, but we don't get a lot of them back. That was a nice one. Discussion. Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Move to consider approving an annual contribution to the One Goal Scholarship Fund in the amount of $500 and a budget amendment for said amount. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Selectman Eubanks.
Second.
Selectman Brock for the second. Board, I want to ask Mr. Dillon to speak about the scholarship fund and creating scholarship funds within the city. You have something to share with the board, Ms. Dillon, concerning this one and as well as the next item.
Okay. So this on the docket, so I checked on it to see if we could do any type of donation to, our annual contribution is what it's saying, to a scholarship fund. And so what I did was I called the state auditor's office to see if there was any thing in our Constitution about it, whether we could do it or not. And according to them, in Section 66 of the Mississippi Constitution, it says law granting donation or gratuity. It says no law granting a donation or gratuity in favor of any person or object shall be enacted except by the concurrence of 2/3 of the members elect of each branch of legislature, nor by any vote for a sectarian purpose of use. So speaking with Mr. Greg Higginbottom, which is with the state auditor's office, he said that there was no authority that would allow us to give money to a scholarship fund. And there was another city that had received an attorney general's opinion on it, and they said that it was not allowed for a city to make any contributions or anything to a scholarship fund or a scholarship program.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Shannon. Further discussion, board? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion fails. Want to skip item number 19? Selectman Brock, motion to skip?
No.
Motion to consider approving an annual contribution to Pike County Chamber of Commerce for the Mississippi Scholars Program in the amount of $500 and a budget note for said amount. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
It's been motioned, it's been seconded. Discussion? Vote? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. And motion fails. Let's get to the addendum. Move to consider approving payment to the Reserve of Park Lane LLC for right-of-way.
Hey, what was the vote?
The vote was no ayes, all nays.
So 3 nays.
All nays.
Okay.
Okay. Move to consider approving payment to the Reserve of Park Lane LLC for right-of-way and easement for the Northwest Intercept Project in the amount of $23,290. And further authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Tullis.
Second.
And McKenzie. I'm going to defer to Mr. Dowdy. Would you apprise the board of what this is and why this come before the board?
The property was appraised by the gentleman from Hattiesburg that previously this board had authorized to make appraisals, and the board had accepted the appraisals that are still in litigation. The Reserve of Park Lane contacted me by telephone. We had a long telephone conference, and they pointed out a couple of oversights and errors in the amount of acreage involved in the temporary easement, and I would strongly urge the board to authorize the payment of the $23,290 to Reserve of Park Lane for the easement for the underground Northwest Interceptor sewer project. It's $5,100 more than the appraisal you earlier approved.
And that's the reason it's back before us. Question, discussion? Understood? Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Is that one nay, Reverend Brock?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Selectman, Eubanks, you want to speak on the insurance coverage and
Yes.
concerns?
I would strongly like for this board to ask their, and city administrator, I'm sorry, to ask their department heads to speak with their employees and see what is happening with this Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. A lot of workers are telling me that they're not covering medications that they previously had been getting from United Healthcare. That one gentleman is a diabetic, and he has the nerve disease. And they won't even approve his Lyrica. They said Lyrica is not even a drug. So they told him, and different things of that nature. So I would ask that the department heads, kind of ask their employees what is their experience with this insurance. Has it been a good thing for them, or if they have any type of problems with it, to let their department head know and have them to come back to this board and see what's going on with this insurance. I had a problem with it. If I said that they try another drug, my doctor said, wait a minute, this is what I prescribe. And so, speaking with, I spoke with over 12 people who have had a problem from different sections about this insurance. So I would ask that the city administrator ask that his department heads, at a department meeting or whatever, and ask them what kind of problems they've been having associated with this new Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. So and get back to the board at the next board meeting.
Got that? Okay. Well, board, I'd motion to add one additional item, which would be Scenic Rivers Sports Park consideration would be a motion to add one additional item. Senator Cameron made the motion, Selectman Tullis made the second. All in favor of amending the agenda and adding one additional item, please say aye.
Discussion.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Discussion.
That's non-debatable.
You say, talking about representing Rivers, but what is the exact motion like?
I haven't made the motion yet, we just amended the agenda to add one additional item. Now I'll try to state a motion for us to consider, okay? I know the process we go through, we amended it.
And I'm asking because I did that, and you made me state my motion. Bruh. Wait, chill. I did that one time, and you made me state my motion and doing adding that one additional item to the meeting. Bruh, as our youth would say, you wishy-washy. You do stuff that you want to do when you want to do it. be consistent. And that's why this board is so out of order, because our chair is inconsistent.
All right, well, what I always do when we bring items to be considered to amend the agenda, just state what it is that we're talking about in generic terms. You know, what do you want to do? And so I wasn't telling you to state the motion, just tell us what it is you want to amend the agenda for us to consider. So that's what I've been trying to ask us to do. That's what I've been asking you to do. All right, so I would move that we would consider, motion to consider.
Now they ain't gonna approve it.
A motion to consider allowing the city attorney and the city administrator and the mayor to enter into discussions with Scenic Rivers Alliance concerning operations of the McComb Sports Park.
And what was the vote to add it?
Sir?
What was the vote to add it?
The motion to amend the agenda, sir, was approved. Now I'm fixing to make a motion that you will have discussion and consider.
What was the vote to approve?
Amending the agenda?
Yeah.
It was 4-1, and this gentleman did not vote. All right, so I would move that we consider allowing the city administrator, the city attorney, and the mayor to enter into discussion with Scenic Rivers Alliance concerning operations of the McComb Sports Park facility. Would they be motioned and seconded? Selectman Cameron made a motion. Selectman Tullis for the second. Discussion. Now we're in discussion of the motion. Is there discussion?
Are you gonna,
Selectman Brock.
are you gonna add anybody? Who are you gonna add on this?
Well, it was going to be the city administrator, the city attorney, and the mayor to have discussion with the Scenic Rivers Alliance concerning operations of partnering with the Scenic Rivers complex on the sports complex. Close three. Okay, that was the motion. That was seconded.
And you all gonna come back and report to the board?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And then it will be for discussion. So allow us to do that. Have those initial discussions and try to get the attorney to draft some language that could be considered. So let me back.
I would like to be involved in those discussions. I believe someone from the board itself should be privy to those conversations.
All right. Then someone's going to have to amend
Make a motion to amend the agenda.
not to just to amend the motion and
Substitute.
to add the name of Selectman Albert Eubanks to this discussion panel. So he has made that motion. Is there a second? Selectman Brock. All right, so we need to vote to see if we can add Selectman Eubanks to this panel. Is that correct? All right, so the vote would be, we understand the motion to add Selectman Eubanks to the team discussing with the Scenic Rivers Alliance. It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, then the motion would be now we're back to the motion, which would be to consider allowing the city administrator, the city attorney, the mayor, Selectman Albert Eubanks to enter into discussion with the Scenic Rivers Alliance concerning the McComb Sports Park and the operations of it. And so that's before us. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, now I'd like the opportunity to talk to you about recreation in the city. And, you know, as I wanted to, what I was trying to tell you, and what in the previous meetings when the parks had come up for discussion, I want us to look at the entire package for the city of McComb. And so this has been done by our rec department. And so, the numbers, you know, all of these improvements, across the city of McComb total $601,000. Now, if you go to the back page, here's the math. Have you got the math? Do y'all have math? Let me see this math. Yes. All right, this is the math. Do y'all see this? Okay. Board. As of February the 28th, 2018, I'm getting these numbers from Ms. Dillon. There's $180,000 in the hotel motel tax account. Okay? All right. Now, we have distributed and put into a fund, the MLK fund, $108,000. All right, so that's been allocated to the MLK fund, so you take that out. We have approved the lighting of field 3 and 4. That's $338,000. You take that out. Ms. Dillon tells me there are probably $18,000 worth of expenses out there that have been incurred that haven't hit the claims docket yet that will come. So you take that out. You add to this 180, $70,000, which would account for March, April, May, and June. Estimate of what would come in for those 4 months. Loan proceeds. This our hotel motel tax extends out through June 30 of 2021. So that's a 3-year period, and that would we would estimate that would generate $625,000. So with the things that have been incurred in the city against hotel motel tax, that leaves us $375. Now, what I'm asking you to do, board, I don't care where you come from on this list, but I just want you to develop a list. If you want to go put it all into Algiers and Beartown, that's great, fine. Just give me a plan that we can adopt that the Board of Selectmen have got consensus on. So Selectman Hill, if you could just reach across the table, work with the Selectmen and get find something that works for you. And that's what I'm asking you to do. This is the needs of the city for recreation. Just makes no difference to me where it goes. I mean, I can come up with a plan, but I'm asking you to. Everybody understand what I'm asking? And we'll have this on the docket in 2 weeks, in April, and just submit it to me what you want the board to do, and we'll move to do it. Pick out the ones in here that you want to do as a board. Selectman Hill.
For Algiers and Beartown, can you please read to the audience? For Algiers and Beartown, number 1 and number 2.
That's $80,000 for Algiers, $80,000 for Beartown.
Isn't that what I already asked for? Perfect, man, bye.
And so what I'm...
Get with that BS, bro.
That board...
You saying now that you're gonna give me something that I already just took it away.
What I'm...
That's what are you doing?
Board, what I'm asking you to consider is this is a list of needs of the city. And you've got $375,000 to spend. Where do you want to spend it? And, I just wanted you to before you decided that you were going to go to Algiers and Beartown, that you at least knew what the other needs across the city were. And so now you have it. How do you want to spend the $375? That's all I'm asking you to do. Develop that, and we'll approve it. That's what I'm asking you to do. And this has come from our Park and Recreation Director, Mr. Ron Kessler. This is what he knows what is needed across the city to continue to make great improvements to our parks. Selectman Eubank, sir.
Yes, I would like to, if I'm not mistaken, did we not approve $150,000 for the Martin Luther King Fund?
It came from the 2015 bond.
No, sir, it was 108. 108's the number.
50 came from the bond.
Ms. Janice, if you could, Mayor, has all the money that was put into this fund is still in this fund, right?
In the MLK fund?
Yes.
Every penny of it is $158,000 and $100.
So it's $158,000.
And $100 donation.
Okay. $158,000. And every penny is there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Selectman Hill.
All right, so we all are elected around this board, and we are elected to do our jobs to represent our community. I have presented the things that I wanted for Alders and Beartown. I gave you everyone a list here, the same way it's listed on that paper. Now you want to come back and divide the money amongst everybody at once. Someone around this board started asking for money. Bruh. This, and not just for the city of McComb, but for everywhere around this nation that's represented by Republicans at this time, are being totally destroyed. And what's really funny about it is that the city of McComb has represented by you guys since the very beginning, besides a short period of time, and we look at from the city of McComb now, and we wonder whose fault it is. On that sheet of paper is what I've been asking for the last 4 months.
Exactly, and I've been trying to get it to you, and I told you it was coming. All right, Mr. DeMonte, Mr. DeMonte's out. Chief McKenzie, DeMonte.
My constituents.
Hold on just a second. DeMonte. You were not recognized by the chair, DeMonte. Please, out.
My constituents elected me to represent them. They also elected you to be the mayor. I brought a recommendation the same way you're doing now. And you were told against it.
We need to vote all y'all out this board. Y'all conduct yourself like Klansmen. Don't even care about our kids. That's so stupid.
Okay. So I just don't get your rhetoric about, because you told me no today and now you're finna tell me yes. Like, I don't get it, but if that's your way to go about doing things, it's not smart.
I'm gonna try this one more time. You know,
I think they heard it.
now I've got the chair, Ms. Selectman Hill.
You've been the chair.
Is that I've got the floor.
Okay.
When we came forth with the idea from Algiers and Beartown that you presented, I told you after the meeting, I said, I'd like to have a chance to get the entire, the rec department to look at the entire needs of the city, and I wanted to discuss that with you. But you know, I believe that my duty as mayor of McComb is to bring forth items that that we all should consider, and we're trying to, all of these things are important, all of these things are good. I just want, the board was sitting here making a decision on Algiers and Beartown, not knowing what the other needs were across the city, and I just thought you needed to see that before you made that decision. That's what I'm asking you to do. That's what I've asked you to do tonight. And so this money is here, and I'd like for you to, as a board of selectmen, to tell me, get together and say how we want to go this 375, and let's do it. And but we're looking at the entire package, Selectman Hill. That's all.
So you're telling me that these other gentlemen or selectmen don't know the needs of their wards?
I'm addressing the needs of the city.
And we're elected to represent. You're giving me the same thing I've been asking for. Whatever, man.
That's it. All right. Well, that's all. That's for your consideration. I want it's going to be on the docket next week. I'd love to have something from the Board of Selectmen about how they'd like to appropriate this 375. I'd like to have it come from the Board of Selectmen.
But then earlier you say 600,000.
Where's the math? I'm sorry. That I told you that there is. Can you? Well, I can't help it. All right, I'm entertaining a motion to adjourn. You got some?
We'll do announcements.
All right, you got some announcements? Okay. All right, what you got? City Hall will be closed March the 30th in observance of Good Friday. Next board meeting will be Tuesday, April 10th, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. Don't forget that we want more day in the city of McComb. We need a motion to adjourn. So Mr. Cameron made the motion, Sullivan second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right.